I don't even know how much money I've spent on all of this stuff. Just in plates and bars alone, it's literally a ridiculous amount of money I've spent on those. And to me, it doesn't matter. It's money that I've gladly spent. I remember when I was very young, I had a fever, a long rheumatic fever in bed for 4 months. And in the days, I stayed alone with the maid. I only had my father's books with me. They were fantasy books about ghosts, and also books by Edgar Allan Poe that made a forever impression on me. The object of oratory alone, and not truth, but persuasion. Thank you for leaving us alone, but giving us enough attention to boost our egos. Why has not anyone seen that fossils alone gave birth to a theory about the formation of the Earth? That without them, no one would have ever dreamed that there were successive epochs in the formation of the globe. What I am afraid of is the first thing I was ever aware of being afraid of, and what I have told my daughter countless times she need not fear: being alone in the dark. It is a small prison of emotion from which there is no escape. It is also, in its own way, a shattering revelation. In real life, I am a very sensitive person, as Elle lived alone in New York for 15 years without my family. I always remember that phase of my life. I used to be a drinker, but I found out how bad it was and I let it alone. And we never got the mule, let alone the 40 acres. I have noticed that men usually leave married women alone and are inclined to treat all wives with respect. This is no great credit to married women. I love cooking, not for myself alone. Cooking is about giving. Victims always feel alone and helpless. Sparky Anderson taught me this a long time ago. There's 3 ways you can treat a person. You can pat him on the butt, you can kick him in the butt, or you can leave him alone. It's very easy to approach a character like that, a so-called strong woman who overcomes the odds, and give a one-note performance, playing that strength alone. Strength is only one thing a person has. It's time to commit to finding the answer, to search for life beyond Earth. Mankind has a deep need to explore, to learn, to know. We also happen to be sociable creatures. It is important for us to know if we are alone in the dark. Offspring. The due performance on religious rites, faithful service, highest conjugal happiness and heavenly bliss for the ancestors and oneself depend on one's wife alone. It was because of Henderson that I stayed. It was he and he alone who kept me in Toronto and in Canada. Were it not for Henderson, I believe insulin would have been a product of the United States. Sadly, if President Obama is willing to ignore the pain of race-based discrimination and injustice so as to make whites comfortable, and this, after he has already been elected and the campaign is long over, then the likelihood he will ever speak the truth about these matters, let alone address them, shrinks to nearly zero. I always find that the best collaborations are when you work with people that know what they're doing, and you leave them alone to do it. There are lots of people in the world who have money. Lots of people in Morecambe have money, let alone the world. and Morecambe is quite a small place. I know that I came into the world with what I call big dharma, with a blueprint to teach self-reliance and a positive, loving approach to large numbers of people all over the globe. I am ever so grateful for the circumstances of my life that allowed me to be pretty much left alone and to develop as I was so intended in this incarnation.